one point, has it become some sort of like, okay, it's all about serving the customer, serving the people?
Yeah, it became all about this audience, this will work. This audience, this will work. This audience, this will work. Okay, fine, let's do that. And of course, apply creativity, all that is fine.
Right.
But there was one point where, like, I used to tell you, like, I used to write a lot on my own. I used to draw a lot on my own.
Right.
All that went completely missing. Not that I feel bad about it, but okay, what have I done for myself?
Sort of fell away, right?
Yeah. Okay. And I feel that you have to have something of your own on the side. In the sense, even if it's like a journal, something as simple as a diary or a journal,
right?
You have to do something for yourself. If you want to show it to others or not, that is up to you. But there should be some place where you get to like pour your thoughts out.
Okay.
And though I can anytime come on Fully Filmy channel and talk about stuff, right. I cannot talk about a lot of things that I'm talking about right now or the things that I will talk about after this.
Right.
Very personal stuff about my life. Okay, fine. You're Fully Filmy founder. Okay. We came for interviews, reviews and all that. Why are you talking about your own life? So I wanted to start like, this is kind of like an online video journal only. Like whatever I'm going through life, what I want to do, all of these things and the name is my name only.
Right.
So they have people, if they want to watch, they get
attached
to the personality. If they like watching me, they'll watch it.
You don't put a lot of pressure on this personal project of yours, right?
Pressure in the sense, no.
Do you have some sort of, okay, I need to post this many videos or this?
To be honest, this is the last video that I put out.
Right.
It's like 8 goals for 2020.
Right.
There was a 9th goal.
Oh yeah. What is that?
9th goal was put out 1 video every week.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah. I recorded. It was there in the edit.
Okay.
Then I showed it to Shweta. Like she said that, okay, everything is fine. Do you really think you can do this? And after that, like you'll be enjoying it for some time. After that, you'll be putting undue pressure on top. And though consistency is very, very important on YouTube, at the same time, you don't want to force yourself to do it. And that too, I have a lot of other work in
Of course.
Like there's Fully Filmy, there's stuff at home, there's so many other things.
I get you.
Right. Meeting people, then sitting with the team. You have to lead the team and everything like that. So all that is going to take up a lot of time. And this thing, like to edit, even right now, it takes me about at least 1 day or 2 days to edit one video. So I have to get faster with that. And then in the end, if it's just about every week, this thing, I think things are bound to take a hit, right? Content is bound to take a hit. Quality is bound to take a hit.
Right.
So it's like, okay, fine, let's go.
Some sort of like that sort of...
Yeah. So I didn't want to commit to that.
I faced that issue too. Same exact issue.
So she said that, Shweta, whatever goal you're putting out, others, everything seems achievable, measurable, and everything is fine. This doesn't seem that achievable.
Right.
In the sense that you will be running ahead of yourself and then other things will fall apart. Not fall apart.
Meaning in the sense,
serious.
It won't get the necessary attention it requires.
Yeah. So, and then you'll start hating this also.
Right.
Like, yeah, good point. So I took that part out of the video. Now it's 8 goals instead of 9 goals. So yeah, now I don't put much pressure. Like
I like that you sort of make videos when you only feel like it or something like that. You know, you went on a vacation. You got married, right? Yeah. We never talked about that.
Not much to talk about. But
how's marriage like?
Are you seriously asking?
No, please. I'm being sarcastic.
Not that it's bad or anything. There's nothing different.
I see the same struggle. So Matt Devella just got married, right?
Yeah.
I see him sort of, my wife Natalie, right? You're sort of having that same.
And both of us watched him also, so I guess that kind of thing.
Right. That's nice. So yeah.
Pressure, no. You were asking me if I put a lot of pressure into the personal project. No. There's like a lot of stuff that I have written.
Right.
Lot of things, like different places and everything. Scripts and all are just ready. Now it's just about how to present it.
Right.
If I can do something new in every video, that's all that matters. And when I get to editing, that is the part like I actually really enjoy. Not that I want to become an editor or anything.
You really like editing?
I love editing. In the sense that you go into that and then it's like, how do you say? It's like entering, like how I entered this place, entered your studio. It's like Jurassic Park. So it's
You
limitless.
came by the wrong direction. You're
Whatever it
supposed to
is.
say take the other road.
No, it was fun. Whatever it was.
It's good.
It was adventure. I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, so there's so much that you can do. Even if you're limited by your skill set, there's so much you can be inspired by suddenly cutting into this. And then when you play it back and watch it, what you edited, and it gives you a certain feeling. So that's why I like editing a lot. The process is very satisfying.
That's nice.
You know, you have these oddly satisfying videos.
Yeah.
You just keep
I know.
something like that. Like this process is very satisfying.
Man, it's been so long since I had that feeling with editing.
Really?
It sort of gets weird when your sort of your passion or something that you've been doing for fun turns into your job.
Okay.
And something, some sort of pressure is being put on, and that sort of changes the dynamics in such a way that what I've been doing for the past year is sort of trying to take the pressure off of YouTube.
Okay.
Right, with my video making process, video creation process, because then I came into it to have fun, to tell stories, and make videos that I like, and eventually sort of make films for YouTube or something like that. When that thing turns into some sort of like a pressure where you sort of need to create every week or create every on a schedule, that's why that's what sort of really fascinated me with what I saw with Fully. I had the same problems, which was I had so many diverse interests, right? It wasn't just art and drawing. I want to talk about films, of course. I want to talk about, video production and things like that. And I want to talk about personal, it's very corny to say personal development, but individual development or something like that.
No, I think a lot of people need that in the sense, why do you think Matt Diavella videos are working so well? Of course, it's very well produced and everything. That's fine. Right now, though we have like the internet has exploded. I can't even call it the internet, like social media has exploded so much.
It's almost a culture, new culture.
It is something like you can be connected to any person in the world at any point in time. At the same time, people are feeling so much more alone and without friends or without mentorship or guidance or anything. Right. Like there are so many kids that ask me these questions of what do I do. I'm sure you get a lot of questions. We've spoken about this.
Yeah, exactly.
That, what do I do after this time? What do I do with this situation? How do I get into this and all that? And what are we like? Earlier, we didn't have anyone to ask these questions to. I don't know if you had, but
I did actually.
I
was lucky in that sense, right?
So that time you looked at, like I said before, you looked at film stars, you looked at these sports stars. Wow, I'll be like this someday. And then after you get to one point in life, you see that the sports stars that you used to admire, the same sports stars like in the Indian cricket team today are younger to you. Like in the sense the age of entry has gone down. Right. And at the same time, at that time, you don't have any guidance. Like, so we just started doing a lot of things, and most people without guidance, they just go with their lives and don't try anything different. Right. Now, even though there's so much avenues to do anything, people are feeling much more alone. People have much lesser guidance and they don't know whom to talk to. So they talk to anyone. And YouTubers, they feel are approachable. Right. And they ask, and I'm very happy to, that some people are contacting me. But what I was saying was, why are Matt Diavella's videos so successful is because everyone these days is trying to better life in some way or the other. They're more conscious about it. Right. Whether it's looks or whether it's fitness or anything like that. Those were not our parents' priorities. Right. Our parents' priorities was survival. Right. Somehow getting enough money to run this household and get these kids through school and college and all that. And that's why most of them didn't pay attention to their food, what they were eating, how much they were eating, whether they're getting any rest or exercise or not. Now we don't have that much time. Whatever little time we have, we want to get a little better at everything. Right. That's why all whatever habits Matt Diavella is suggesting and everything, they're doing extremely well. Like, why should something like minimalism, why should that concept be so relatable? It is not relatable. But the way he presents it, the way he says that this could add value to your life in some way, everyone is looking for value these days. So even if you make personality development videos or something like that, it is nothing to be like, how do you say? Shameful about or conscious about.
I get it.
As long as you do it honestly, like
definitely.
And you
not to make just because I was literally, I was thinking last night, right? I was actually listening to Matt last night. So on one of his Patreon podcasts, and one of the thoughts that popped up in my head was like, okay, when you get into these spaces like personal development, things like that, these things are very personal, right? And one of the things I've always stayed away with from doing on YouTube is to try to mix up my personal and YouTube. Because for some reason, if you don't have some sort of bright lines or boundaries, things start to fall apart really quickly, at least from what I've observed.
That's true. But at the same time, like, I don't know if you can create that bright line. Like, if you can create that kind of division, because...
No, I think you can, in the sense, for example, right? Gary Vee has a good bright line. In the sense, you can never see a picture of his wife or his kids or, things like that.
Oh, no, that way.
That.
Okay, I'll give you an example of what I mean. In the sense, like... what me and Shweta before wedding also, after wedding also, most of the stuff we used to talk about at home was about work. Because for us, our work is everything. In the sense, our professions are creative professions. So that is something that you feel passionately about and you create it every day, as opposed to someone who goes to an IT job or goes to a bank job. That is not something some people, of course, passionate about all that, and they talk about it at work. But apart from that, they have a life separately. They talk about movies and everything. Now, if I talk about movies, I'm making content about movies. So, is it work or is it personal life? Is it my interest or is it my work? I don't know. So it's difficult to create a separation. So the lines start blurring. But how much of where you can draw the distinction is like what you said about Gary Vee is about how much of your personal life you put out.
Exactly.
How much of your family do you put out in the world?
Right.
And he's making it very clear. He talks about his interests. He talks about sports. He talks about the baseball cards, and he talks about him wanting to buy the football team and everything like that. Football team? Basketball team?
It was football. NFL.
NFL. So he talks about his interests, but he never speaks about my wife did this, my daughter is doing this and all that. Maybe in some kind of an example he might bring up if someone asks him that question, how do you draw the distinction? So that only he talks about his family.
That's what I want to ask you, right? So you had these multiple interests with when Fully Filmy became Fully. You want to explore all those things. I have the same issue in the sense I have so many interests and I want to explore these things. And I am going to do that. But I also sort of see the value in the way of choosing one interest or one thing and trying to take all the lessons from all the different explorations and push it into this, because that's what I see Gary Vee sort of doing, taking all these, he talks about life lessons through business, and how is it turned out for you? Because, you had these so many things and right now you're sort of zoning back in regards to Fully Filmy on things. Are you sort of narrowing things down and trying to sort of explore different variations through that narrow sector? You're getting what I'm saying, right?
Kind of. See, I think it has a lot to do with who you are in college, and age also I think plays a factor.
Right.
Though I still feel that I'm still that, a little part of me is still that same kid from school or college or something. That part will always be there in terms of being curious about things.
Right.
But when you're in college and when you're just starting work and everything, at that time you feel passionate about a lot of different things.
Right.
For example, music. At one point, I used to listen to so much music, so much independent rock music, this thing and all that. After a point, these days, I still listen to the same stuff that I used to listen to, like not Linkin Park, none of that stuff.
Right.
I only listen to stuff from the 60s and 70s, that kind of rock music. Some new music, like international Western music these days, I don't think it makes sense. Even Bollywood music is all remixes. Again, don't want to sound like a boomer saying that in my days, it was
for
used
some
to be
reason,
like this.
really, I get you.
Yeah. No, the thing is that if you say what boomers say is that in our days it was like this. No, I'm talking about music that came before I was born.
Right.
So that's like a very this thing. So your music tastes go like this. And then after some time, it narrows down like this.
Right.
And I apply that to everything else. Whatever you feel strongly about, like in college especially, a lot of kids are passionate about a lot of different things.
Right.
They want to go to culturals. They want to go to symposium, all of that. Some even take up this revolutionary stance. They're opinionated about a lot of things. As you get older, the same thing, you like to pass opinion on a lot of things, but your opinion becomes monotonous. Like it doesn't make sense after. It's not relevant after the point. College, however, you want to explore a lot of things. That's where you can explore. And after some time when you start working, then you get really into work, and then more layers of responsibility, everything gets added on. The time that you have to think about the world in so many parts of the world goes a little less. Even now when you have information overload, I've tried to like not think too much. Sometimes it might seem non-empathetic to not think too much about different stuff and everything, but at the end of the day, you have to think about your own life first.
Right.
Similarly with interests also, they also kind of narrow down. And then it becomes about how you add your perspective to those things. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, I sort of get you. I sort of get you in the sense. So what you're saying is sort of, you had these multiple things, then you take those things, you have one good lane that you sort of can follow. Correct me if I'm wrong. So one good lane that you sort of follow, and using that lane, and you're using that particular lane to explore different multidisciplinary lanes or something like that. Am I making sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Sort of, right?
So that time, like what happened with Fully was that we spoke about sports, politics, this, that. Putting our opinion on different things. And then after a point, I wasn't passionate about all of those things anymore.
Right.
So like, okay, I can always talk about something on my own.
Right.
And when I'm not that person who's expressing his views, if I'm making a team do it, expressing their views on politics or whatever it is, then the product is not the same. And also I'm forcing my opinions on them, which I don't want to do.
Right.
So it's better to channelize that interest, at least according to YouTube. If I want to talk about politics, maybe I'll start a new political channel.
Right.
Suppose.
Right.
I don't want it to be on the same sphere. People came to this for a reason. Let me give that back and also add more learnings and perspective to that. Package it in different ways and everything.
Got it.
That I don't know if that answered your question.
I don't know. I think it was a good ramble in the sense.
Yeah. It was a ramble, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But it needs to be rambled upon. Right. So over the years, right? So Fully Filmy is a super successful company right now.
Super successful.
I know.
It's going well.
It's going well. For me, from the outside, right? You've done a really good job. Taking it from a startup to a very good established company right now.
Still a startup only. Yeah. And I always wanted to be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I be the student always. Something like that.
Yeah. It sounds very cliched, like always wanted to be the student. But yeah, I always wanted to be in that thing that I want to learn from people who just joined the company. Like they have to add something new, and it's very difficult to find people also. But anyways,
so questions on that, right? So how many people are there at Fully?
Totally around 30, including like the store employees and everything.
Right, and are you like so you were this creative guy who writes, who are into content creation. You want to start this company. Was managing people sort of hard, tough?
It still is.
It's still
and I don't know if I'm also good at it in the sense like, so I'm there, Anand is there.
Right.
So Anand is like, he's more of the financial guy. He more of the managing the team.
Right.
I have my creative team and I give them guidance and everything. So there are a lot of decisions that I personally don't take. I don't get into numbers. I don't get into those things and everything. I just like to guide the team like with what I learned. I'm trying to use their individual skills and then try to create some unique product out of it. I'll keep it to creative management is what I do best. I don't go beyond that. Sometimes, like with a few people, the equation becomes a little more like, you have more deeper conversation. Like example, Najib, for example. Like we have conversation every Friday, Saturday about personal stuff and everything. And also about work on how we can make things better.
Right.
But yeah, managing people is, I think, as if we are creative people, it is generally hard.
Oh, what have you learned? Like, what is that one thing
What
sort
I've
of?
learned?
Okay, let's put it like this. Say you're a creative type, or we'll call it that. I don't know even if that's a thing, right? Creative type, manager type. I'm not sure.
No, there is.
Okay, fine. What is that one thing that has made the difference in terms of managing people, right? So that has taken you sort of from, oh wait, I'm sort of managing them. Oh wait, this has made a lot of difference, like that. What is that thing? Or one or two or three things?
Okay. Just one main difference. Similarly, like how I was at one age, how I am right now. It's not the age thing. It is about the different things that you see and the people you talk to.
Right.
I would say the more experiences change you as a person.
Right.
When I was in digitally inspired media, I know I was a manager of a team. But I was a terrible manager. In terms of... I had this superiority complex about myself.
Oh, right.
Kind of. Like,
right.
It wasn't intentional. But it was like...
I think it's sort of part of the process. People need to sort of go through that.
Yeah. So at that time, there's very less empathy that you have for other people. And while it's not intentional, so I'll be lost in my own thoughts. I'll be doing a lot of things for the team and everything like that. But people under me, in the sense like people who are part of my team, they also need some kind of guidance. So there needs to be some kind of imparting of whatever I have learned to them. Instead of doing all the things by myself. That is not a good manager. That is a good employee who happens to be the manager at that point. Right. After this, like right now, I think, this is what I feel, that empathy makes every difference. Something that Gary Vee also says. Right. Empathy, like, you have to understand where that person is coming from, what they might be going through, not to get too personal. In the sense, if they're saying something, if they're coming up with an idea or they are feeling something a certain way, you have to understand why probably they might be feeling like that. Then you have to play that game. You have to play the player. Kind of.
Okay.
How you say choose your own battles. This is a slightly different thing. Like sports, like cricket needs a different mentality. Football needs a different mentality. People are also like that.
Have you ever got to fire anyone?
Fired anyone? Yes. Yeah. That wasn't very difficult.
How is that? No, it wasn't difficult.
No, that wasn't very difficult because everyone wasn't same, and it was not ugly, but it was public. So that was a little bad in the sense that person was asked to let go, like leave the same day. Because like I don't ask for too many things. Even if your skills are bad, right? Like if you're low on your skills, you can always learn your skills. But there needs to be a sense of mutual respect with your teammates. So that person basically disrespected someone else in the team in front of everyone. Rather than going and settling it personally. Right. And that person was also a manager. He's been there for much longer than that guy has been. So like, no, this is not done. Please leave. So I have not fired too many people. But
how do you decide the dynamics? Meaning in the sense, how do you decide between, you look at a person and say, this person needs a cuddle right now. Or this person needs metaphorically. Right? This person needs a cuddle or this person needs a kick in the back. For their own good.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can intellectualize it. I think it is a very subconscious thing and I might be wrong also about that while I'm doing that. So honestly saying, it all depends on the conversation, that person's mood that day. And also knowing that person. Like I know a few people that they can't do planning well. They're very bad at planning. Or they're very bad at... Not bad in the sense they are not good at that particular thing about coming up with something themselves and then telling other people to do it. They are better at taking orders from some people. Some people are not good at taking orders. They want to do things themselves. Their own thing. So I think that is one factor about someone who needs that constant guidance, someone who just needs direction.
Sort of accountability type deal.
Yeah. Someone will say, okay, I'm going to do this. But they won't like me to exactly tell them what to do. But at the same time, when they say, I want to do this, I might guide them. Okay, you can do it like this. I won't say, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, just apply this, nudge a little here, nudge a little there. You might find this like this. Show them the path. Rather than some people who want the road laid out for them so that they can walk on it.
Okay.
So I think that is one distinction.
Sort of knowing who can be a good follower and who can be a good leader or something like that on the lines.
Yeah. So that is the kind of distinction. One distinction I can tell you about.
Right.
How I deal with people. Yeah.
So over the years, man. So Fully Filmy you started Fully Filmy, then the YouTube channel. Now you went into retail, which I think is sort of like a different ball game in terms of
completely
business.
Different ball game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that now you're going to the next phase. I don't know what that phase is, which I'll ask you about that. So what are some of the lessons, or it sounds like, oh, what have you learned? Right? But okay, what has really made the difference over the years? So let's take 2012 Raunaq. No, 2012 Raunaq. No, not 2012.
2015.
2015 Raunaq. And right now 2020. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
What have you learned that has helped you become a better creative, better business person, better leader, better manager?
Okay.
Better person overall, right?
Better business person, I really don't know the answer. But one thing that I'd probably like to pay attention to is that there is a certain limit. There's a certain limit that you can just think about passion. After a point of time, you have to think about revenue generation. That is like a dilemma I'm in right now.
Oh, okay.
Like, to be specific, the Fully Filmy YouTube channel, right? That basically runs on the money the Fully Filmy online store or retail the brand makes.
Yeah.
So we pump into that. And in the beginning, we used to pump in blindly because that time we didn't know what we were doing. And we didn't have set targets like monthly, we have to achieve this much sales and all that.
Right.
We had a little bit of an idea, but if it goes above that, we got very happy. If it fell below that, okay, next month we'll see. After the point we started, like when we started feeling a crunch, after we started retail especially.
Oh, right.
Then you start thinking about how much money you have totally, how much can be allocated for people as their salaries, how much can go into operational costs and everything. And then about vendors and payments for materials and everything, all that shipping, so many different costs you start factoring, and then you realize that, oh fuck, you don't have enough money. Then you have to make certain choices that people might not like. So yeah, that is one thing, that whatever it is, you have to make decisions.
On cash flow.
People might not like those decisions, but you have to focus on these decisions. So, like I was saying, so Fully Filmy was entirely running on the money that was, the YouTube channel was running on the online store's money. Right. After a point, there was no money to fuel that. In the sense, money had
doesn't make sense for you, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't generate too much revenue back.
We thought that we'll pump in, and at some point it'll generate on its own.
Right.
How will it generate on its own? It can't generate on its own. And there are a lot of reasons for this. One thing is our fault only, that in order to get business, you literally have to get business in the sense, if you want to get a sponsorship for your YouTube channel, people are not just going to see, oh, you have 500k subscribers, I'm going to give you 1 crore. It doesn't work like that. You actively have to go out and seek people if you're interested and all that. We've never done that. Like, a lot of things is, people notice our work, they're like, oh, we see the potential, okay, let's do this on the money. So now we have to be a little proactive and say, okay, this month we have to get this business.
Right.
So now I'm working on that also. As like a business part of it, I'm working on that.
Literally getting business, like you said.
So now I'm trying to see how to convert the YouTube channel, the Fully Filmy's YouTube, not mine, Fully Filmy YouTube channel into like an actual revenue generating platform, and think of how many other different ways the brand can generate money apart from just the online store.
Of course.
I'm actually paying attention to that. So I've started networking a lot more in the sense, like, simply, like, to put it simply, I'm on LinkedIn right now. And actually,
even I'm thinking of getting on LinkedIn.
Gary V again.
Right, I know.
So you like go on LinkedIn, talk to people, and people are not going to pay attention to you otherwise. So I've there was one very interesting person I met last year. We thought that, oh, we've created something nice. Like, we've created Fully Filmy, it's going well and all that. So many people know us. Sometimes one ego automatically comes in from somewhere you don't even know.
Right.
You have a certain perception of the world that people think about it this way. Not about boasting, not pride and all that. Okay, fine. You think you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Then you meet certain people. Like, example, last year I went to this event. There's this company called Under 25.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah.
So they do a lot of events.
Oh, they've invited you for speaking, right?
Yeah, last year they invited me for speaking.
Right.
Like, okay, fine. Oh, people are inviting for speaking. Okay, let's just go talk. When I went there, I realized the kind of event they were putting together, how they're structured and everything. And I met the founder of Under 25.
Right.
He's much younger than I am. He's like, I think he's 22, 23. I don't know. He's a founder.
He's literally under 25.
Yeah, he's literally under 25.
Okay.
And he is so fucking confident. And in the way he speaks, what he wants with the company, what he's doing right now, how he's... And that's when you get like a reality check. That you're not doing shit. Like, there are a lot of people doing shit. And some younger guys are doing it better than you. And it's not about young or older, but that's one kind of a parameter. No?
Right. I get you.
You have so much more to learn from everyone, especially if they are younger and all that. I'm not saying everyone young does a lot of shit and all that.
Of course.
Yeah. So, one thing I learned is that you can easily go into a bubble.
Meaning you tell yourself own stories of who you are and what you've done.
And also that you get comfortable with what you're doing. Right.
How do you overcome that then? What are you doing?
By doing what you used to do in the beginning. In the sense...
Going back to the roots?
Going back to the roots, definitely. Like, the energy with which you approach things became a lot more process-oriented over time.
Right.
It became like that. And because when you have a team, you have your designers to think and everything. I felt comfortable, okay, I'll give them a brief. Designers will take care. I'll concentrate on a few other things. No, you have to be always in it for the rest of your life. So when you meet younger people, you get to realize a lot. So that's one thing I realized in the last 5 years, that you have to never stop meeting people. Even though some meetings might not be productive or anything, you have to meet more new people. You have to understand where people are coming from, how different markets work and everything. Get their experiences so that will be used somewhere. I'll compare this to Pinterest. Okay. Do you use Pinterest?
Yeah, I'm sure you do. I consume Pinterest. I don't put out
Exactly.
Right.
Consume now.
Right.
So Pinterest is what it takes few of your interests. It suggests a lot of other stuff. Right. Suddenly home decor will come from somewhere. And from the beginning of time, since when I entered like this advertising world and everything, I just consume Pinterest like this. I just keep scrolling through Pinterest. Sometimes I save things, sometimes I don't save things. But then I have to give like a brief to a designer, maybe 3 months later. 3 months later. I would have remembered some poster I saw somewhere, some element of some poster, some typography or some style of illustration that I'll say, oh, I'll get that reference and I'll give it to that person. People are pretty much the same thing. There are so many different kinds of people. You might meet them for a purpose. You might be connected to them over a period of time. There might be some random people that you meet. Each person offers something else. So when you meet more people like this, something sticks from them. And then when you apply that in your business somewhere, oh, this person said that, okay, this might work. I don't know how Pinterest can be applied to people.
No, I get you. You're sort of taking one thing, right?
Yeah.
For one, I didn't expect this conversation for me to, one of the things that sort of a thought popped in my head is like, oh wait, maybe I should do something different too, right? That's something that I'm taking from you right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you sort of take things here and there, and that's why you network, quote unquote.
See, because I usually hate meeting people. No, nothing against you right now.
I get you.
Hate meeting people, nothing against people. But like I said before, I am happy with the conversations in my head.
Right.
But after a point of time, you have to go out. You have to, talk to different people. It also helps you in your art or whatever it is later. Like, perfect example. I don't know if it's a perfect example. This is something I saw in an interview. I think it was this guy called Anubhav Sinha, who's a
heard of him.
Hindi filmmaker.
Oh, right, okay.
He made this movie called Article 15 last year.
Oh, right.
You heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Pink, Article 15, all of these movies.
Right.
So before all of these movies that he made Ravan. You remember Ravan? The shitty ass movie.
I know.
And he spoke about this in an interview that I made that for a reason. He's made hundreds of ad videos before that and everything.
Right.
And he was a filmmaker. He was given a lot of budget. And he made some crap, and he's very aware of what he made.
Right.
Then he shifted his focus to different things. Like he explained this that the first movie he made after that point was this movie called Mulk. Yeah. Mulk is a story about how there's a Muslim family, and one of the sons in the family is like a terrorist, and he gets killed or something, and it becomes like a case.
Right.
And how this entire Muslim family gets involved in that case. They become the target of the Hindu community and the entire country, basically.
Right.
That your son is a terrorist. They get ostracized from the community.
Right.
All of that stuff. It's basically about Hindu-Muslim, I won't say a rivalry, the latent hatred, which is like such a reflection of whatever's happening in the country right now.
Right.
And he Apriya made it. It's a very honest, very genuine movie. He didn't cut off anything. Like he didn't censor anything.
He showed what's happening. Okay.
The best part was that for the Hindu family, Hindu characters, he used Muslim actors. And for the Muslim family, he used Hindu actors to play that. Very interesting thing. But what he said about his filmmaking process was that for a long time, he said this about this thing. See, now we drive a lot. We drive cars. We sit behind cars and everything. And then often we are looking into our phones.
Right.
We see what is going on around the world and everything.
Right.
But when you look out, you see that there's so many different people who are there. So when you look out, you suddenly see the platform. At a signal, you see a platform. There's a guy sleeping on the platform, and his hand is outside onto the road. And most people, they don't look at it because we are all consumed by different things.
Right.
But when you look out and when you start observing that person, you start thinking about what could happen to that person if someone drives over or something like that. Okay. So he says that I've started observing a lot of people. In the sense, you have to observe people to be a better filmmaker or a better storyteller and everything.
Right.
Like when you film a police station scene. Normally, a commercial filmmaker, what he'll have in mind is there's these benches. There's one guy sitting there eating samosa, having some chai. That's all. There'll be one Gandhi photo behind.
Right.
And then there'll be one Indian flag, something. And this guy is corrupt. One police is shouting, one constable is standing there. That's all.
Right.
But when you actually go into a police station, you start noticing different things. And he spoke about one very particular thing, that there is a rack on which policemen hang their belts.
Right.
And then there's one special belt that you use only for hitting.
Ooh.
And on that belt, it's written in Hindi. Okay, I forgot what the exact quote is. Aao milo sajna or something like that.
What does that mean?
Come meet me, my lover. Something like that. Okay, something like that. So when you use that to hit a criminal's butt, so it's like that kind of a connection. So there are these little intricacies, there are little details and everything.
Right.
In every place that you observe. So while I am an introvert, I don't like meeting people. Now I have to kind of do it, because when you start observing people, you become more empathetic about them. That kind of plays in your art. You write a character, you write a policeman, but that policeman, you can write it as like a 2D character also, like a cardboard character. Right. Or you can get what happens in his house.
Right.
Who that person might be, what his wife will be like, what she'll be cooking, what she won't cook, how much salt she'll put for his husband, how he reacts to that, what his child will be saying. And when all of these things play, and when he comes, when the policeman has some case or something, he has to deal with the criminal, all these things also might be playing in his head. You get, like, as a creator, when you write these characters or write stories or create content, it becomes much more detailed. So instead of consuming the news, consume more of people. Meet a lot of people. If you look at the news these days, every media channel is owned by some political party or the other. Right. You can easily understand who's owned by who, based on the ideologies or how they react with certain members, whether right wing or left wing or center. Whatever. So right now, if someone watches the news, if I'm a Hindu and I watch the news and I don't know much, I'm just watching the news because I have to consume it. They'll be talking about Muslim community in a certain way. Over time, if I am not smart enough, if I don't meet enough actual people and I just consume news or WhatsApp forwards or whatever it is, I'll say Muslims are bad. Muslims are thieves. They need to be thrown out of the country. They can go to Pakistan. Random this thing. But when you actually meet more people, whether it's Muslim or Christian, whoever it is, you will actually get to know about their lives. They'll get to know about your lives. So instead of consuming the news, which has become like just political vehicles, go out and actually meet people. Whether they're good or bad, no one is actually a good or bad person. It's just depending on such situation.
Yeah, even the typical villain.
Yeah. So meeting a lot of people, one thing, it gives you a reality check of what perception you had of someone else, and it'll definitely change.
Right.
Plus, if you're a creator, meeting more people plays a very important role in how you shape your content and everything.
That is good. And that's really, really, or how do I say, it was sort of like an opening thing for me. It's like, click, I have those moments.
I'll suggest you one more thing. Do you know Rohit Shetty?
Yeah.
You know his movies?
Yeah, movies I know.
The Simba, and all that. So you'll think, he makes commercial shit, he makes cars blow up.
No, actually respect those filmmakers right now these days.
There's an art to that. And he explains it. Like there's a recent interview just came out yesterday or day before on Film Companion. The Anupama Chopra is doing an FC Unfiltered episode with Rohit Shetty.
Right.
Just look at him talking. He's such a... I don't know him personally, of course.
Right.
He feels like such a chill guy to hang out with. And he's very sure about his audience, which is the middle class, the different centers and everything. He's very sure about the audience, and that's why each of his movies make 200, 300, 500, 600 crores. And he's very sure about it because he has a strong understanding of people. He compares himself to other filmmakers or other actors or something. They don't know the real world. He doesn't have anything against them. But he says that I started as assistant action director or something like that from the very bottom in the 80s or something. Right? And he slowly built up. So for any kind of work, now there's like CG, VFX, all of those things are there. Earlier, assistants had to do a lot of the things. The crew budgets were small. Crew was small and everything. So the assistants had to iron the hero in saris. He doesn't complain about it. I've done this. So, and I met a lot of people. When I have to go do like location recce and all, we used to do that time. You go there, you explore the locations, and then you eat in people's houses, you meet certain people and all that. Then you notice how each person is different. While we're all the same, how each person has their one sensibility, and all that comes into making these movies. It becomes moments in his own movies.
Right.
Same thing with Rajkumar Hirani and all of this brand of filmmakers. Good commercial filmmaking is an art.
Exactly.
Yeah, good commercial film.
I was just telling him that two or 3 days back, because I just watched my first Telugu film. Ala Vaikuntha. Right? I've never had such a good time in a very long time, right?
You watch in theater or Netflix?
No, Netflix. So it's like, like you, even in the goals video you're saying, right? If you just go about those 2 lines of, what do you say?
1 inch tall barrier of subtitles.
Right.
I meant for foreign films, but this also works.
I don't know Hindi, Telugu. I just know Tamil and English, right? So I was getting really bored and tired of just having no good Tamil films sort of showing up, or like very lack or very few here and there, and even the very few sort of, I don't know, I feel they're trying to sort of push a personal agenda or some sort of an agenda or an opinion or something. It feels very pushy in the sense. I didn't sort of like that. I just wanted to watch a good film, and it has been so long since I've had like a good time watching a good film. Right? And so just it's a random Telugu film. I might as well read the subtitles and start watching the film. Man, I haven't enjoyed a film so much in such a long time.
It's done clean, right? The movie is so clean, except for that foot fetish part.
Which one? Oh!
And then the song starts, right? That was done creepy. If that was not there in the movie, I would have loved the movie.
Even I was sort of like, I really don't get that whole thing. But when I was done watching that film, all I could think was, the amount of artistry that has went into making a movie that is appealing to so many people, because it's so hard. It's very easy to make a niche film.
Yeah.
Right?
I won't say it's not easy.
Easy in the sense.
Easier.
It's easy to go all in on one thing.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're trying to sort of go all in on multiple things and have that be successful, is one of the things that sort of fascinates me with this film. Bahubali 2 is another thing for me. Is like, man, how could someone make such a... It was fairly niche in the sense, the kind of subjects and the things they took upon, but they sort of commercialized it in the sense, the proper Indian commercialization of films. But to make such a film and have it reach so many people is an art form. And that's what I was like talking about, Sashi, because, you know, we talk about films a lot. And this whole commercial cinema lately has been very fascinating for me. Before that, I used to...
hit exactly.
Yeah, right.
See, you asked me like the same thing, right? Like, what is the difference between 2015 Raunaq and 2020? Not just 2015, a little before that also.
Right.
Like, there's a time when, especially in college or something, when you're watching these foreign films and everything, at that point,
right,
you have a different perspective. You think that all commercial movies are shit. There's one phase.
Right.
You say, so cheap, man. All this is so lame, all so over the top and all that. Now, when you look at it, now, at least from my perspective, is that, okay, I see that this movie is a success. That Ala Vaikuntapuram movie itself is a success. It's 350 crores or something.
Right, yeah.
After Bahubali 2 is, I think, the
like
biggest hit in the So I wanted to understand why. Okay. So I started watching it. It wasn't boring for a single second. It was extremely engaging.
Right?
The flow was beautiful. Action scene was, okay, not my type. Everyone's flying
some scenes are seriously the way he just went down and came out.
So that is okay.
Right.
But that the one
it works for
at least you can enjoy it as a guilty pleasure and go on.
Right.
Now I can see it in that lens. And then the family dynamics and everything. It's very nice. It's a lot of people don't know how to do. They just put stuff like that. If you take Tamil commercial cinema these days, it is like, oh, education system, something is happening. Hero has to go and change it. Fisherman is dying over here. Hero has to go and change it. Tamil culture is dying. He has to go and change. Why? Shut the f*** up. Make a decent film about it. You can set it in a family itself and you can do wonders. I don't have nothing against those people. But don't sensationalize an issue just for the sake of it without a story. Like politics and everything. Unless you have an understanding, don't do it.
I think one of the things, like you said, right, observing other people or looking at the other side of the lens, meaning from like sort of artistry, art house type films to typical commercial cinema. I think one of the things I've also done over the years is sort of looked at other side of things in terms of, say, the big social and political opinions, which was really fascinating for me because I was your typical... I don't know. I didn't even want to go there. So, very social justice and,
right? That was fully timed, I think, for me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That a little before that also.
Right.
To pass opinions on everything. This is happening in the country. This is wrong.
And then what you said was really good in the sense, like, you said, okay, looking at the other side of the coin, like meeting people, like with the Muslim example you gave me over there, right? It was very fascinating for me to explore different opinions on the same subject, which I hold very near and dear to my heart. And your typical liberal leftist creatives, for some reason, man, I don't know, I'm going to get bashed for saying this, or maybe not, I don't know. I find that most creative types, right, are leaning very towards left, liberal, open type. I don't know. This is an observation. I'm not sure.
No, it might be true, but at the same time, this liberal thing that we're talking about, right? Liberals. There is an extreme variety of liberals.
I know. It's even hard to even put a definition out these days because it's... I don't even know what liberal is these days, right?
There is one side who think they are liberal, but they're also forcing their opinion on... Liberal means what? It means everyone has their right to their own opinion. You respect... You can argue, you can, have a conversation and maybe try to sort it out. If not, you agree to disagree and you live your own life. That is what liberal, the traditional definition.
Yeah,
I
classical
think actually
type deal.
Everyone do what you want. Don't live and let live types. Liberals is like, oh, this is wrong. You should not talk about women like this. But at the same time, they are forcing their opinion on every single thing, saying that you have to talk like this only. You have to behave like it. That is pretty much the same thing as a right-wing fundamentalist.
Exactly.
There's not much of a difference.
Exactly.
It's just that you're this side of the extreme, they are that side of the extreme. So, yeah. What I've learned in business, like what you asked is, observe people. It'll play much more better in your business, in your art, in your anything that you do. I think so. And instead of blindly buying into this, and try to pay attention to your own life also, rather than having an opinion on every single thing.
That's a big thing I've sort of done over the years. Well, like focusing on the individual rather than the society, because one of the things I've sort of seen, right? Like we think that we take orders from society, but I've also seen that it's not just we take orders, we also give orders, and we're sort of like an echo chamber of things that we say, oh, follow this path, and we're asking other people to follow the path, and we're also following the path. And at the end of the day, I think it's also it's up to us as an individual, our responsibility to sort of be the change. It's so cliche.
Be the change you want to see in the world, right?
I don't even want to say that. But literally, changing the individual unit of the society.
That's what it's really like. Whenever, like, this year itself began with the JNU violence and everything.
Yeah.
And I was feeling bad about it, like for quite a while. And then things just kept escalating from there. Whatever happened in Delhi riots and everything, people dying all over the place. And I was genuinely disturbed. I was like, what if this happens to us at some point? Again, I was talking to Shweta about it. And she's like, okay, go change it. Can you do anything now? Okay. Can you do anything right now? Can you go to Delhi right now and stop everyone? Like how in Bombay, the movie, Arun Swamy comes and stops the fight between Hindu and Muslim and all. It's not possible, right? In the sense, like, if something is happening around you, you can try to influence that and you can try to change it.
Right.
That is the only thing that you can do.
You can do it.
It might be unempathetic, whatever that word is. Like, it might be very self-centered or selfish to think that way. It might be. Like, you should not care. It's not like you should not care about that. Have a concern for that. But if you try to influence the world around you as much as possible, then world automatically becomes a little better, at least 10% better.
Exactly.
And this is also one thing that I read in this book. Have you read Tuesdays with Maury?
No, man, I'm not a reader much.
Oh, you don't read much. Yeah. Okay. But how do I explain? Long story short. Okay. So this guy, the Maury is basically an old professor, who's like dying of ALS.
Right.
ALS, the disease, and he's like paralyzed. An old student of his comes to meet him, who he used to be a mentor of and everything. So there's this passage or something, and this guy has a very positive outlook about life, in the sense like, my body is gone, but my thoughts are still alive and everything, and I've accepted death. Most people fear death, and they keep getting more tense, and then they don't accomplish anything. I've seen enough of life. Now I'm getting closer to that. Death is going to happen. Now I'm completely free. I can do whatever I want. Even my body doesn't move, but I'm free in my thoughts. So this guy asks him, during your youth, the student asked the professor, during your youth, why didn't you go anywhere else? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, there's so much bad stuff happening in our country. There's so much violence everywhere. So this guy says, there is violence and everything happening in every country, in every part of society. But that doesn't mean you run away from everything. And he's like, so what do you do? Like, you have only one life. You can influence only these many amount of people. The ideal goal is that whatever you think will be the world. Like, whatever thoughts, ideology you have will be the world's ideology. That's the extreme part. That's not possible. But you can't stop a war personally, but you can influence like the people around you. So just concentrate on the people who love you. You love them back. Build a community of people. Try to teach whatever skills you can to those people. Try to get them up in life and everything. That's all you can do. And then you fuck off. There's no other. He doesn't say fuck off, but I'm adding this.
Yeah, no, that's a nice touch.
Yeah. So see, that's what I said about you in the beginning.
before we end this podcast, right? So I just want to ask you, like, say a little bit more, like, quicker questions. I want to say touch upon even more different things in the sense.
Yeah, it took too long for a few things.
It's nice we took long for, say, YouTube and fully filmy and fully the YouTube channel. So we went over a lot of things. So I'm going to ask you, say, a couple of cliche questions, but I think it's worth asking in the sense, okay, if you were to go and have a conversation with, say, the 2010, let's say, take 10 year back, some sort of like a conversation, a short conversation.
Yeah.
You're in a time machine, right? You go back there. You just have 1 minute to talk to that Raunaq. What would you say? And if you don't finish within 1 minute, you're stuck in that time and you're screwed. So
I'd love to be stuck in that time.
You're stuck in 2010 and a younger version of Raunaq.
I don't mind. I'd rather be stuck in 90s, but anyways. 1 minute, okay. Anything I could want. I actually have a script regarding this, but anyways.
Oh yeah?
Okay. I've written the different points, but I don't remember it very well. One of few things is eat less sugar.
Okay.
Don't think that one relationship is forever.
Oh, right.
Okay. And or anything. Don't think that whatever you're doing right now, whether it's a relationship or a job or anything like that, don't think that this is forever. Right. At the same time, don't take anything for granted, like whatever you have. Socialize more, like more targeted socializing. In the sense, not blindly drink.
Right.
But, aim to have conversation with people.
Right.
Have more empathy in the sense, like, try to understand other people's point of view more rather than thinking that your opinion matters the most.
More, right.
I think that's pretty much it. There are a few more things, but I forgot. This is the main thing.
That's nice.
Don't think your opinion is the most important.
Okay. So next one would be, say, if you were to on that particular second thing which you said, what was the second thing? It really struck me.
Second thing, the relationship thing.
Yeah, one thing doesn't last. So, what would you say to a person, say, who wants to get into some sort of a business, start a business, or start a YouTube channel, or start some sort of a company or something, and they think, okay, they're having troubles taking the first step because they think it's forever. What would you say to that person?
They think the first step is taking forever.
No. The first step, once you've taken that step, and if it turns out to be successful, it's forever.
Okay.
And they cannot do other things or things like that, because that's one of the reasons, or one of the things that I've personally faced, and I also see other people facing in the sense, in terms of their search for quote unquote passion, right? They think that they need to find this one thing, and if they find that one thing, they need to do it for the rest of their life. And also on the other camp, they're scared to find their one thing, because what if that's the only thing they'll get to do for the rest of their lives?
Okay.
We're getting into deep territory.
Yeah. So I'm trying to keep it short. So that's why I'm trying to see what to exactly say. With regards to business, I don't know if anything becomes successful overnight like that. Like the first thing itself becomes successful.
Right.
In that, you try a lot of things. For business, my advice is completely different. If you're not prepared with a few things, example, money for the next 6 months or something like that, like to take care of yourself.
Right.
Okay. Don't ever go to your parents and ask for money, and so have enough that you can last for some time.
Right.
So your business also has to be based around that. At the same time, you can't put in something and expect that it's going to explode. It's not going to be successful immediately.
Overnight,
You have to put in the work. You have to stick to it. You have to try lots of different things. In terms of everything else, I'll just give like the filmmaker example. Okay. Not just one filmmaker. There are quite a few filmmakers who do something. Okay, I'll give one lame example.
Okay.
There's this filmmaker called Rajesh. He made SMS.
Rajesh? Oh, Rajesh. Oh, SMS. Shiva Manasla Shakti.
Shiva Manasla Shakti. He made Boss Engira Bhaskaran.
Actually, I like those movies.
You like those two, no?
Two movies, yeah.
After that, did you like Mr. Local?
Oh.
Did you watch it?
It was him.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was that. And then there was that Arya movie or something like that. Arya Tamanna. VSOP.
Meaning
Vasu and Saranu.
Yeah. These are all Tamil movies, by the way, for those people who are listening who have no idea.
Yeah, that. And then there's one more thing also. All in all, Alagaraja. That also.
Oh God, man.
Yeah. So, what was your reaction for SMS and what's your reaction for All in all, Alagaraja? It's different, right? So, what Rajesh did was, he made one movie.
Mm-hmm.
He made the same movie in a different city, like placed it in a different setting with a little slight tweaks in a family angle. It's the same story. There's one guy who's useless, who tries to date a girl. He hangs out with a friend, drinks every day. That movie becomes successful. Same thing, he repeats in Boss and Girabaskan pretty much. He's a useless guy. And then at one point, he has to prove himself. And then he'll do something and he'll prove Repeats the same thing. It works once or twice. After that, it does not. If you do the same thing 100 times, it's not going to work. You have to, one thing, not take people for granted. Whoever's consuming content, you can't take them for granted. And you can't think that whatever is working now will always work. This is one example that I can, Rajesh example that I can give.
Wow, okay.
So, don't be Rajesh.
Hopefully Rajesh is not listening to this.
Sorry, Rajesh. In the sense, I liked your first two movies.
Even I did too.
If you're ever watching a podcast, but listening to a podcast, whatever it is. So, if you do the same thing, if you take people for granted and you take yourself for granted, or if you get overconfident about yourself that if something worked, you keep repeating it, it will be successful forever. It is not going to be that case. Times change. The times that we live in change. The people over time change.
Right.
And the things that they consume over time change. The ideologies, everything changes. So how can yours be something constant? It is not possible. It has to, I'm not saying you have to cater to them. There's this book, right? Ikigai.
The Ikigai? Ikigai, I have that book,
Yeah, I know you don't believe in that, like finding your Ikigai and everything.
Really?
You don't believe it. But
I do actually.
You really do? I thought you answered in some question or in that video.
It really depends on what context.
Stop finding your Ikigai and actually start doing something.
Something like that. Yeah.
But happiness is what? It's like something. It's a mixture of different things, right? It's like it's a cross Venn diagram of different things. Right. What you believe in, what the world likes, and then what pays you.
Right. Yeah.
What the world needs. It's a center of that. So, if your happiness dependent on only that part, which is what you like, it won't work. Like, it will work in that terms. But it depends on all these other scenarios also. People play a part.
Right.
When other people play a part, how can only one way work? People are different every minute. Right. If one WhatsApp forward comes, people's opinions start changing. Right. So, we live in that world, and world has always been like that. So, you can't take people for granted. You can't do one thing forever at the same time. It has to keep evolving. So if you do something successful, do exactly the opposite of that. That's what I think.
That's really nice.
It works for some time.
No. It's sort of hard at the end of the track, right? At the end of the track, you have to sort of let go of your thing that you've sort of been doing for so long.
Yeah.
And you have to sort of switch tracks and do something else.
And I'm not saying that people can't be successful like that. There are people who are successful.
On the same plane.
Yeah. Do you know Bhuvan Bam, the YouTuber?
Bhuvan Bam, yeah. BBK Vines. Yeah.
He does pretty much the same thing in the sense, like, the structure is same. The idea is same, that he himself plays all the family characters. Multiple avatars and his friends also.
Right.
But the story each time changes. And the thing I like about him is that there are 20 extremely funny scripts.
Right.
Suddenly, out of nowhere, he'll do some extremely emotional. There won't be one joke in it.
Oh.
He'll have the same structure. Like, what is it? It's one guy, his mom, his dad, his two useless friends.
Right.
That is, and he's the constant guy in everything. He plays the same character with just a phone. He records himself and the conversation. Extremely funny. There's one thing in which only two characters are there. His dad and his mom.
Right.
Okay. And the situation is about BBK Vines, the main guy, Bhuvan, has failed in his exam or something like that. And he has just come and he's telling his dad about that. See, I have a friend who has failed in his exam. He's feeling very bad. I think he's going to hurt himself in some way. Okay.
Oh, right.
That's him, he's talking about him.
Right.
And his dad knows that it's him. And the dad says that, okay, okay, it's fine. See, tell your friend that failure, this is just an exam paper, right? This is just board exam, it's fine. Like you'll have it, that friend will have it next year. Go and tell him that. There's not a single joke. So he completely takes the same structure and he adds a completely new element to it, and it's extremely emotional. Like I didn't expect that. So he does this once in a while. He does music videos. He does all of that. He does acts in short films and everything. Extremely talented guy. And I think that's one reason of his success. And he's very
self-aware. And he has that constant stream of same type of content.
Yeah, it's the same setup. It's the same structure.
Okay, and he experiments within those things.
Yeah. And he's one of the most successful guys ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Like in India now, he's Pizza Hut ambassador. He's like on the big billboards. Yeah, he's on everything.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So and a lot of people, when they get successful, it gets to their head, and Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all these fuckers. I don't know why they were successful in the beginning to start with.
Right.
But yeah, so there are lots of people whose concept works, but they also experiment. So no success is going to last forever. This took a little longer than.
No, that's good. Yeah. What is that saying? This too shall pass. Yeah, something.
That's my tattoo basically.
Really? Yeah. No kidding.
It's in Hebrew, written in Hebrew. So it's like this too shall pass. Nothing is permanent.
Wow. Right? Okay.
Whether it's happiness or sadness. It's like stoicism kind of. I don't know whether it makes sense or not.
This is a nice that was a nice touch there. Oh wait, I have tattoo. So last thing, man. Like, so I know about your goals for 2020, right?
Most of them. There are a lot of other things also. Yeah.
So what's in the plan? What's in the works? What's the future for Fully Filmy and you going on? You got married. That's nice. I keep saying that. I don't know. Yeah. So your wife Shweta is a designer.
Yeah, she's an illustrator, designer. And she works for Freshworks.
Oh, right. Okay.
And so what's in store for Fully Filmy?
Yeah.
So it's all business kind of stuff. But yeah, we want to expand.
What is the vision? What do you want to do? Like something that do you have something like that?
I know I'm supposed to have a vision. And I used to tell myself that I have a vision, but actually I don't. In the sense, like I know this year's goals for Fully Filmy.
Right.
And I don't want. Actually, I'm consciously not. No, not about publicizing. I don't want to think beyond that. Next thing, right now, immediate future, I can tell you is we're entering the Telugu industry also. And we're also getting into other fields where we can do merchandise, like example, Chennai Super Kings merchandise. Right. So we're getting into sports and other things now. So I want to build, if you take a rough vision, I want to build it as like a youth brand. Movie merchandise was the beginning. Like I want to touch different sectors in merchandise as well as content or anything else. So I want Fully Filmy, the YouTube channel, to become much more than a YouTube channel in terms of, I want to do, lot of content that adds value to people's lives. Like, people think of films as like an unreachable, untouchable goal. Right. And because of that, there's a lot of ego within the industry think that we are above everyone else and everything.
Right.
So the point of access, they still think that it's very difficult. Both. They also think that these people also who was aspiring also. Right. So I want to add value in a way that they actually learn the skills that's required to get into the industry. Whether it's like art direction or cinematography, anything like that. So that's why we're just starting with like a new series. It's called Behind the Films.
I saw that. Right.
So we want to interview different technicians, talk about their journey, but most importantly, the process, like very technical, the process, like the first interview was not very technical, but the aim is to become more technical. Like we're going to be interviewing like a publicity designer and seeing what is publicity design. Okay. Like from a layman's perspective, what is needed to enter it? What is the brief? How do you take a brief? How do you develop like a workflow and everything like that?
This also does good in a way that, people are exposed to different kinds of potential opportunities that they can exploit.
Exactly.
Right? Because I don't know what a publicity designer is. And if I was young,
in plain terms, it's like a poster. He makes posters for movies. But there's much more than that.
Right.
It's like a poster or like the poster campaign. It defines a film.
Right.
Like from the first look that you put out till all the posters that you see and everything, it forms a lot of opinions about the film and everything.
Right.
It shapes people's opinions.
Oh man, that is it's just not design that's going into it, right? There's there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. So the guy we're interviewing, his name is Gopi Prasanna.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of him?
No, I haven't.
So he's one of the biggest publicity designers in Tamil cinema.
And he designs, so he sort of does the movie posters for big fan.
He's like frequent collaborator of Mani Ratnam.
Oh,
and all the big. Now he's also working with all these Vijay movies. Also, he only does like Master Thai. So he does very artistic work. He does a lot of commercial work also, and within commercial work also, he bring like an artistic element. Plus, he's also worked with a lot of different brands like Nike and everyone.
Ooh.
Like he worked in advertising.
Okay.
So right. And the other person we're interviewing is like a audio engineer. He's worked with over 100 films.
Ooh, right.
Tamil, Hindi, Hollywood, everything. And just listening to his stories was like extremely interesting about how sound plays such an important part in everything. So how you create sound or how you play with sound and everything. So through all of these different interaction conversations with this series, I want to add a little more value to people who want to learn more about filmmaking and everything as a craft. That's rather than Taladalapati Patti enna nenikiringa, like that is what every other channel platform is doing. Right?
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons probably, casual conversation interviews sort of never worked in this space. It will work in the coming. Yeah, I think it's going to work right now. It hasn't worked before because, like you said, you cannot, say nothing bad or criticize them. We sort of had this defined speech module we need to follow.
Immortals. Like, they're not. They're just people that are doing a job. They also think of themselves as immortals for some reason. I don't know. So those two things. Then we also want to start fully filming events.
Yeah, I saw. Right.
Like I said in the video, I'm not sure what it's going to be. Few ideas are there, but it's not defined well, so no point talking about it.
Okay, it's good. It's nice.
So that's with regards to fully filming. Myself, I don't know. It's just part of me. Going with the flow.
Right. Nice one. So, where can people find you? What do you want to say before you leave? Anything else?
What do I want to say?
Yeah,
I've said too many things.
Don't forget to what do you say? Plug in your podcast and Instagram.
Yeah, so you can find YouTube. Me on Instagram, Twitter, at Raunaq Mangottil. I've changed my other, like I used to be cinema in my jeans.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't want like a moniker attached, so I just put as my name. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Yeah.
Right.
Please check out the channel.
I
think you might find it interesting.
Good creator. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. What do I want to say more? It's like, what do I say? Yeah, stop. If you're a judgmental person like I used to be, or I still am to a large extent, judge a little less. That's all I can say. Like everything automatically will become better. Judge people a little less, judge situations a little lesser than.
There's more to the coin.
It's very vague. At the same time, I don't know. Yeah. And if you want to create something, just start creating.
Right.
Like there is no easier time than now to start doing something about it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much. I don't want to give advice and all that.
Yeah, I get you.
I hate.
That's why I didn't ask you sort of advice type thing because the way you sort of went from the TCS employee to now the person that you are, it had a lot of actionable things that you did over there. So that was really interesting. So thank you, man. Wow, this was a great conversation.
Thanks for having me. I don't know. I don't know. I've done these kind of things before. Not like this. Not like such an informal conversation. Like I've been part of these radio interviews and everything. So that's like a 5-minute slot, and then the RJ plays an ad, and then so it's very structured. So this felt like kind of like therapy.
Oh yeah,
it's like I'm talking to myself only. So the conversation that I usually have in my head when other people are around. So this is like playing out with another person. So I don't know if I can explain that.
No, I get you. You.
So it's nice. It's like nice to pour out whatever you've been feeling from a long time or thinking about for a long time.
It's nice to be a therapist. Just kidding.
Yeah, and we had to have more of these things so that once you talk about it, it's out in the open. You can do the next thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right. Great, man.
Thanks
Super.
a lot. And yeah, please
Awesome.
support him as well in
please.
everything that he's doing.
Thank you.
And if you want to see a Kesh workshop on Fully Filmy, just tell him that also.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Not just
that
workshop,
was
we'll do more than that.
Right.
I'm sure. Because the last time we were supposed to do a collaboration, you vanished.
I vanished?
Yes.
Probably because I had too much on my plate.
Maybe.
I extended too much.
Something to do with idlis and...
I know.
Yeah.
I will talk about that. Don't. We'll talk about that after the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, people. We'll
Thanks for watching and listening.
I think most
for so long. Oh, that's this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, anything.
I think this is like I don't know how much of this is going to make it, but yeah, thanks for being so peaceful.
Peaceful?
Patient.
And
listening to this. I hope it added some kind of a value.
It did. It definitely did for me at least. Yeah. Anyways, thank you. See you guys in the next one.
Yeah. Bye-bye. See you guys.